Hi physics students, this is Mr. Rylander and I'm going to walk you through how to find the slope of. Now let's say we've made a graph of some data that we've collected from a lab, very similar to the first lab that you're going to do, where you have a position versus time graph. You've plotted your points, and the first thing you'll want to do to find the slope of a line is to put a line on your data itself. And we do that by drawing what we call a best fit straight line. It's a line that best approximates all your data. Some points might be a little high, some a little low, but on average, it's a good approximation of all the data that you have. Now once you've done that, the next thing I do is I pick 2 points that are on my line. They don't have to be actual data points, but they do have to be on my line. Now if you're clever, you'll do something like this. I picked this point here, which has an x value of 40 seconds and a y value of 100 meters. That's a nice point that's going to be easy for me to subtract from another point in just a minute. Hey, here's another point. Its coordinates are 100 to 50. That's going to be easy to subtract from. Once you've got that, I make a little triangle here because I'm going to want to find out what's the change in my y value divided by what's the change in my x value here. So I'm going to subtract those two values, and for this case, my change in y turns out to be 250 minus 100, that's 150. And the change in my x happens to be, let's see, 100 minus 40, that's 60 seconds. My run, or my change in y divided by my change in x, and that's how I calculate slope. I'm going to plug in those values, 150 meters divided by 60 seconds, and when I do the division I get 2.5 meters per second. I've just found the slope of the line. Now the interesting question that I want to pose as we wrap up here is, what does the slope of this graph represent? It has some meaning, this number 2.5 meters per second. And I want you to think about that because that's going to be the point of your first lab.